The season of many holidays is upon us, and whether you are celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, the Game Awards, or the glowing sun of Smash, December will definitely be eventful when it comes to indie and third-party releases. And before we begin, we can assure you that this series will continue into 2019. Once again, thank you for all the support to this series this year. For now, these are the 10 Nintendo Switch games you should pay attention to this December. Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom is an action platformer launching simultaneously on all the big platforms come December 4th. Being a spiritual successor of the Wonder Boy series on the Sega Master and Genesis system, this is a title that holds much potential, but at the same time has even more to live up to, seeing that the game was crowdfunded through Kickstarter and is being developed in collaboration with Wonder Boy's creator, Ryuichi Nishizawa. One aspect where the game has already excelled beyond Wonder Boy is that the development team of the Cursed Kingdom decided to go for a hand-drawn animation style instead of the originally planned motion-based animation. In short terms, the game is an open-world side-scroller platformer where you step into the shoes of Jin, whose main aim is to prevent his uncle from spreading chaos across the kingdom. We all have that crazy uncle that wishes to bring chaos to our daily lives. The main objectives of the game are to battle enemies and bosses, solve puzzles, and use different animal transformations in order to progress. We can't wait to see if this will be another successful retro revival, and as we all know with the Nintendo Switch, unlike the other platforms, we will be able to play the game everywhere we like. We have to admit that, other than Mario Kart, the Nintendo Switch is lacking proper racing titles. And since Team Sonic Racing got pushed out of 2018, and thank the Lord for that as it looked like another unfinished Sega mess, we at least have Gear Club Unlimited 2 coming to the Switch on December 4th. So what is Gear Club Unlimited? Something as rare as a Nintendo Switch exclusive racing series. And since Gear Club Unlimited was mediocre at best, with only solid graphics to its defense, it can only get better, right? Well, it's definitely a proper racing game with a quite impressive variety of racing cars to choose from, and customize compared to what was the case in the first title by Microids. Even so, based on the criticism regarding short and repetitive tracks, along with lackluster AI in the original game, we recommend to wait for the reviews for this title prior to picking it up. Since even though the game might look shiny on the outside, the gameplay might once again disappoint. But hey, if it surprises us positively, this could potentially become a proper racing series on the Nintendo Switch. The only problem is that, just like with Team Sonic Racing, this game looks to be a little generic. Carcassonne, one of the most beautiful and best preserved medieval fortress towns in all of Europe. Wait a minute, that's the wrong Carcassonne. We are talking about the indie game Carcassonne, or more specifically, award-winning title-based board game turned video game. In this full adaptation of the game, you build a long-gone medieval world with other friends in local multiplayer. Unlike the board game, the video game Carcassonne comes with 3D maps, a solo mode, and paid DLC expansions. Even so, Carcassonne is a true tactical game where every tile and strategic move counts against your rivals in the race for overall victory. It will be interesting to see how the game fares as the first in a line of 3 board to video game adaptations from Asmodee Digital, when Carcassonne launches on December 6th. Do you like badass female video game protagonists? Then Battle Princess Madelyn might be right up your alley, seeing that this is a classic 16-bit action-adventure side-scroller where you set out as the aspiring young knight Madelyn and her ghostly pet dog Fritzy. Developed by Cbit Games and crowdfunded through Kickstarter, this indie title boasts gorgeously detailed hand-drawn pixels, typical for the SNES era, and they blend really well with its fast-paced arcade-style action and adventure gameplay. As you might have guessed by the gameplay that you're seeing right in front of you, this game takes inspiration from Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and knowing the difficulty of that game series, you better get prepared to die a lot. Gladly, the game will not only be a pain, as it seems that a lot of love and effort has gone into its 10 levels that are again divided up to 5 stages, with even hidden branching ones. Needless to say, you gain a certain number of power-ups to battle through evil with your companion Fritzy, who, just like you, can gain new abilities and help you solve puzzles and reach otherwise inaccessible areas. After all, it is a ghost, so it should be able to get anywhere it wants. This definitely looks like another one of those retro-like indie titles that take inspiration from SNES Classics. And as we have seen many times with games like Shovel Knight, Undertale, and The Messenger, they tend to do really well. Hopefully, this will also be the case when Battle Princess Madelyn launches on December 6th. And while we're on the topic of retro titles, the Virtual Console is dead, so long live the Virtual Console. Not that one, but these. Nintendo may have limited themselves to the NES library on the Switch for the moment, and though we all crave for SNES and Nintendo 64 games, for now we have to settle down with Sega's massive Genesis Classics. We are talking over 50 SEGA Genesis titles, and unlike Action 52, these are not trash, because this collection includes classics such as Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the Golden Axe and Streets of Rage trilogy, Virtua Fighter 2, Shinobi 3, and even Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which you might remember from that really cool moment in Sonic Mania. Still, it is really surprising that Sonic 3 and Knuckles are not found on this collection once again. Come on, Sega. What are you doing hiding away the best SEGA Genesis title from your ultimate SEGA Genesis collection? With that being said, there is more than enough here in total to justify a price of $30 US when SEGA Genesis Classics launches on the Nintendo Switch come December 7th. And we all know what else launches on that same day. Namely, Katamari Damacy Reroll. This PlayStation 2 classic has finally made its way to a Nintendo system, and what is more fitting for this puzzle action game than the Nintendo Switch? The story is your typical run-of-the-mill fairy tale. After the King of Cosmos accidentally wipes out all of the stars after a night of binge drinking, he tasks his son, the Prince, to go to planet Earth and create more stars using a ball called a Katamari. These things gather objects and get bigger over time, leading you to gather even larger objects in that limited time. Having played all of this game on the PS2, I can confirm that Katamari Damacy is a game that certainly lives up to its premise and reputation. If rolling up every object to get bigger and bigger doesn't sound fun to you, then I don't know what does. If you're still not convinced, however, you can check out the demo on the Japanese eShop. And for only $30, it's not a bad price to spend on a remastered PS2 game. That is, if you have some money left over after you buy this next game. Who would have thought at the beginning of this year that we would get a brand new Smash title for the Nintendo Switch before the Pokemon RPG, before Metroid Prime 4, and even before Fire Emblem and Yoshi? Close to no one, but here we are, with not only a brand new installment in the series, but the no doubt ultimate Smash. Or as series creator Sakurai-san himself has stated, the game with the most Smash for your money. And he isn't joking, these numbers don't lie. 69 playable fighters and 7 Echo Fighters. Every fighter from every past Smash game returning, even Solid Snake. High-paced gameplay that is somewhere between Smash 4 and Melee, 103 stages where all of them can be played in Omega and Battlefield setups, boss battles against characters like Dracula and Rathalos, over 800 musical pieces, a reimagined classic mode, an expansive story mode, and a brand new Spirit mode. These are just a few of the insane number of features found in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and within each of these lay hundreds upon hundreds of hours of gameplay. Even so, this Smash is different, because for the first time, all stages are unlocked from the get-go, and instead, the struggle is tied to expanding the roster from the original 8 that you started with in Smash 64 to the 74 fighters found in Ultimate. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is already a record-shattering experience, and there is just so much to look forward to that we highly recommend that you check out the upcoming episodes of Inside Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, leading to the launch of the game on December 7th, and then with more episodes covering the upcoming DLC in 2019. For now, we will just say that there is nothing like Smash. As in, which other game can a giant space pirate leader, an inkling boy and girl, Solid freaking Snake, Simon Belmont, King K. Rool, and an oversized wrestling Pokemon can duke it out? The answer is simply nowhere, and that is why this is also the Switch's, if not this year's, most anticipated game. From the biggest Nintendo game of the year to another indie project financed through the help of Kickstarter, Desert Child is something rare because it's a hoverbike racing RPG. The game presents a typical rags to riches story where you start out in the dusty deserts, doing your best to escape the ruined Earth and make your way to Mars and then make it big there. Nonetheless, if you thought that this was just a racing game, then think again, as Desert Child's gameplay consists of hunting bounties, delivering drugs, and taking on the other small jobs to earn hard-needed cash, exploring a pixel art solar system that the developers describe as being inspired by legendary anime such as Cowboy Bebop, Akira, and Redline. Even the racing cannot be considered regular, but rather a racing shooter, as the game's key gameplay element, the racing sections, will include deep combat and race mechanics that will require skill and effort to master. All of this and more will be accompanied with a customly composed sci-fi soundtrack that'll definitely add a unique feeling to Desert Child when the game launches on December 7th. It appears that December is the big indie month of 2018. And good for all of us, because the year is ending on some truly great gems, including Nomada Studios' upcoming puzzle platformer, Gris. Published by Devolver Digital, this game is a true artistic experience where there is no danger, frustration, or death. This would normally be game-breaking, but Gris is a different interactive experience that puts emphasis on puzzles, platforming, and optional challenges for those who want something more out of the game. In many ways, you could say that this game is about evoking certain feelings within the player through the usage of music, distinctive art, very calm animation that truly expresses the sorrow that is the overarching theme of the plot. Throughout this journey, Gris, the protagonist of the game, will gain new abilities to navigate through her struggles. We will all be able to set out on this emotional roller coaster come December 13th. That is, if we have time to play it 1 week after the launch of Smash. Luckily, there is still some time to Christmas, and since we are on the subject of holidays... Last game on this list comes fittingly out on December 24th. Omega Strike is a Metroidvania from Wobblyware, where you shoot down wave after wave of mutant hordes. The premise for this title is incredibly simple, but seems to deliver lots of fun as 3 freedom fighters fight their way and learn new abilities to bring down Dr. Omega and his mutants once and for all. The developer has informed that the game features an interconnected world, divided up into 7 individual areas, and throughout these, you will face a number of bosses and an extensive variety of enemies. Overall, Omega Strike looks like an interesting Metroidvania arcade shooter that might be worth picking up either during the holiday break or in the first months of 2019. On top of these titles, there are also a few others slated for December, though with no release dates for the time being. These include Guacamelee 2, the well-received sequel to Guacamelee, Everspace, and Swords and Soldiers Shawarmageddon. And there you have it, 10 plus Nintendo Switch games coming this December. And even though nothing touches even the feet of Smash this month, it still looks to be quite impressive, with a good blend of first, third, and indie titles from December 1st all the way to Christmas Day. We hope you enjoyed this video and give it a like, and if you are new and don't want to miss any of our videos covering Switch games each month in 2019, then subscribe to the Commonwealth Realm and press that shiny notification bell. As always, we want to thank all our great patrons, and then in particular royal producer Kenyatta Ali. We are aiming high in 2019 and need more support on patreon.com/commonrealm to bring the greatest productions we have ever made in the coming year. But until that time, we want to inform you that we will be in New York for the launch of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on December 6th, leading to the midnight launch, so come say hello if you see us. And make sure to also check out our game vs. game review of Pokemon Let's Go vs. Pokemon Yellow.